My final project is titled Sonnets and Social Media. This project will use social media to tackle the problem of teaching sonnets to high school juniors. My audience is specifically for English teachers. However, it might be helpful for other teachers as a way to spark ideas for getting their students to use social media for various subjects and projects. Students often have difficulty taking the facts they've learned about the components of a sonnet and expressing how those components contribute to the meaning of the poem. Perhaps the internet might be able to help. As pointed out by Baird and Fisher, the web is a place where people can communicate by sharing their knowledge. Therefore, a combination of social media platforms will be used to help students to both learn and share. So what are sonnets? There are over 150 types of sonnets, but the most known are the Petrarchan and the Elizabethan or Shakespearean. Each is a 14-line poem with distinct rhyme schemes and meters. Aside from knowing the distinct rhyme scheme of each, an easy way of remembering the difference between the Elizabethan and the Petrarchan is that the Elizabethan sonnet ends in a rhyming couplet. Both sonnets have a turn of thought or a change in the poet's argument around line 9. This is called the volta. There are two targets to the objectives for the students: to have them understand and be able to articulate the difference between the two most common forms of sonnets, and that would be the Elizabethan and the Petrarchan. These would be facts. The second would be to understand how the volta, the turn in the poem, is important to the understanding of the poem as a whole, and this would fall under explanation. To get students started, I can utilize Google Classroom to provide notes and examples of sonnets in order for students to have the facts they need. I will also provide a folder on Google Drive that will contain 30 or so sonnets for the students to use. Pinterest is a social network that allows people to create and share boards where they can discover or share images and videos. The great thing is, you can share easily from the web through their app. I have created two boards. Each board will allow students to work on the first target, that of recalling facts. The first board is for the Elizabethan sonnets. The second board is for the Petrarchan sonnets. The task is for students to find and post sonnets onto the correct board. For them to do this, they must first recall the facts about each type of sonnet. Pinterest allows for comments after items are pinned to the board. Students have the opportunity to explain why they have chosen to place a poem on a particular board. Other students have the opportunity to comment as well. This is particularly important since, as Brown and Adler point out, our understanding of content is socially constructed through conversations about the content and through grounded interactions. Therefore, the comment function of social media, which allows for a conversation, is extremely valuable. Next, we move on to the target of explanation. Once it is clear that the students can recall the differences between both types of sonnets, it's time for an end assessment that allows them to explain using an inference activity. Instagram can be used in this case. Students will then be told to go into the folder of sonnets in the class Google Drive and select a sonnet. They will then either highlight or black out the volta and post a photo of it on Instagram with a hashtag chosen for the class. By either highlighting or blacking out the volta, students are in essence removing the volta from the poem. Under the sonnet, there's an opportunity for the student to explain what the removal of the volta does to the meaning of the poem, as well as what they might predict about how its removal affects the reader's emotions. They would add the class hashtag in order for the classmates to find it. The conversation can keep going since other students can go in and voice their opinions as well for each sonnet posted. Sounds great! Students will no longer have any difficulty with sonnets now, right? If only it was that easy. There are many things that can go wrong. The first has to do with technology. Students may not have access to a phone or a computer, or they may not have connectivity outside of school. Another problem might be that they're not comfortable using the technology in this manner. Another problem is plagiarism. With sonnets and analysis available online, there is no guarantee that the comments they post are their own, or if they simply cut and paste from the internet. Looking back at the midterm and where I am now, I see that I look at assessments differently. Everything does not have to end with a traditional essay. I'm more open to finding new ways to having students express their knowledge and have the work be collaborative in nature. I also no longer feel anxious at using social media with my classes.